We're going to move on to the NBA right now. It's time to move on to the NBA. It's time because it went down yesterday. Okay, the Lakers, they upset the Grizzlies, and now they lead the series 1-0. But more importantly, Ja Morant, his game 2 status is in jeopardy. So the question is the first round series in jeopardy for these Grizzlies? And cousin, once again, the mic is yours.
Listen, man, it's in jeopardy. We saw what happened to Ja Morant. Went down, looked like he hurt his wrist, right? But it's in jeopardy because of the Lakers. Let's be real, right? When you watch that game, Ja Morant fully healthy, the Lakers was right there. Anthony Davis, if he's healthy, LeBron James, he's healthy. They got snipers around the court now. We got Austin Reeves ending the game. You know what I mean? Like, he's literally ended the game for them. But I didn't like the way Memphis was playing. I mean, I think they played great in transition, but when half-court offense came, they was real stagnant. You know what I mean? They looked at like they didn't know what to do, a lot of one-on-one. And the Lakers was smooth and stride the entire game. They had a half-court offense, and they also had a fast break offense. The only half-court offense that Memphis had was what's the big dude? I forget his name.
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson. That was the only half-court offense that they had. But at the end of the day, when you saw Ja Morant in the half court, he looked stagnant. He looked like he was guessing. He missed a lot of easy shots. And I just didn't like the way the offense was looking. I think the Lakers played outstanding defense. I thought their defense was good. But at the end of the day, even with Ja Morant healthy, I thought the Lakers was going to probably win this series. With Ja Morant being compromised, I think this might end early. I think this is going to be over quick. And if the Lakers go up 2-0, which I'm predicting, I don't see nothing but a sweep. Okay, it's pretty much over for Memphis. This series is a wrap.
Yeah, I disagree, and I'm pretty sure Zay do too. Zay, I'm gonna lob this up to you. I'm gonna keep mine short. You see, when you talk about this, first of all, yes, the Grizzlies were already undermanned. Steven Adams, his loss, Brandon Clark, and I get that. So you don't have a guy off the bench who's going to be able to shoulder that load off for Jaren Jackson Jr. So his minutes are going to go up likely. But you know, is Rui Hachimura going to give you 29 points? Again in the series? No, right. I don't think so.
No.
You talking about a guy who shot 29% on the Lakers this year. Okay, can the Lakers bench in general duplicate that performance that they, you know, had in game 1? If I look on the regular season and the consistency, I would argue no. You know, based on the consistency of that second group. Also, when you talk about it, Jaren Jackson, he's still going to cook up in the half court. He's still, you know, a mismatch. He's still going to be able to put up numbers. Desmond Bane, he had a solid performance in game 1, but I didn't think it was his best. I could see game 2, him going off. But when you talk about Ja Morant, I do agree with you in the sense that I think he looked timid. I did not see that aggressive Ja Morant where he attack you and, you know, he attacks the paint and, you know, that ball pressure is there. I didn't see that. I saw a lackluster, I won't even say lackluster, but a hesitant Ja Morant. Perfect and when you talk about the series last year against the Warriors, game 1, he shot about 4 threes. He made 4 threes. Game 2, he made 5. In this game, he only made 2. So he wasn't deadly from the arc. And I understand he's not a 3-point shooter, but he took those, you know, early in the playoffs. I didn't see that aggressive Ja Morant. So I think more so my biggest fear is not about the injury. Yes, he may miss game 2. I don't think he's missing more, but can he be more aggressive, you know, down the stretch? And I think if he can, the Grizzlies could still feel good about where they are. The Lakers have not been consistent at all this year. So for me to think that they can, for 4 games in a row, to sweep them, nah. Better yet, win 3 more games in the series. I don't see that happening. So I'm going to go, no, they're not in jeopardy. It's 1 game. The Lakers stole 1 game. The Grizzlies have to go in LA and still 1. I think they're more than capable of doing so.
You know, for me, a couple key points. Before I mention my take on this, the Grizzlies missing Steven Adams and Brandon Clark.
Absolutely.
Steven Adams is a brute force. He's very strong. The screens he sets on people makes them not want to run through them, which leaves open threes, open ways to get into the paint. Brandon Clark jumps out the gym. He's able to get rebounds, lobs. They miss them tremendously. Jaren Jackson Jr. is no joke. He's a great basketball player. He plays defense. He's able to shoot the 3, but he can't do that for 40 minutes per game in a 7-game series. Guys get tired. It's just human nature. Our bodies break down. You continue to play in the facet that he does, high motor every possession for 7 games. He's going to get tired. He's going to get tired out, especially having to guard Anthony Davis for a full series who gets into the paint, who puts a body on you. And then you have to go into Rui, who puts a body on you. And then you have to go to LeBron, who puts a body on you. It gets too tiring. It gets way too tiring. And I say all that to say, I like Tyus Jones a lot. And I personally feel like the ball moves more when Tyus Jones on the floor. More people get opportunities to shoot the ball. And the Grizzlies, the floor is space. There's a lot of different dynamics that Tyus Jones brings. But they didn't account for Austin Reeves being given out 25 points a game. And that's something that people need to talk about. Darvin Ham has shown his ability, has shown his confidence, Absolutely. In Austin Reeves to take over in isolation situations to the point where he waved off LeBron for a game winner. He waved off LeBron to attack the paint. That doesn't happen often. And when that does happen, you have to recognize those subtle signs because that means two things. One, it's an end of an era, but beginning of a new one. Because Austin Reeves waved off LeBron James for a game-winning basket. And then at the end, once he scored, he says, I'm him. You're seeing a different dynamic player in Austin Reeves in this playoff series. Now, is it jeopardy for the Grizzlies? I don't know because I say this. I said it off air. The objective of the road team is to still win at home. And you stole game one. That's the heart snatcher right there. When you take game one from a team, that's the heart snatcher, especially a Grizzlies team that's young. They just lost their star player, and now they might go into the next game two without Ja Morant and their their starting center in Steven Adams, and then their backup center in Brandon and Clark. So now they have to figure out who the hell is gonna stand up for this team. Dylan Brooks is inconsistent. Desmond Bane has not been the same Desmond Bane from last year who was scoring all the points and doing all the dynamic plays. So now what's gonna happen? I don't know if it's in jeopardy, but the Lakers are feeling really confident going into game two. Really confident. And they might want to take game two from them. They might play to the point where everything is going to be a hustle play. Everything is diving on the floor. And the Lakers snatched game two from this Grizzlies team that's extremely young and may not be able to cope with bouncing back without the star.
Yeah, listen, I'm glad you bounced on that point. It's the game two aspect, right? Maybe over-exaggeration with the sweep, but the game two is the key here. LeBron James got championship pedigree. He knows the mindset. He knows the killer mentality. And that's how, when you got that type of presence in the locker room and you got that type of motivation in the locker room, he's allowing and understanding, like you said with the Austin Reeves, he allowed Austin Reeves to get that confidence to play that game, to hit the game winner, to end the game. But he also knows how to step on throats. He understands we can put so much doubt in Memphis if we go steal game two, especially with no Steven Adams, Ja Morant. With all of these injuries, we can't let them up. We don't go in there feeling happy that we won game one. That's championship pedigree. That's championship mentality. That's a veteran, okay? And that's what I mean about this game two. I believe the Lakers will win game two. Ja Morant is compromised, and he's not playing. And you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, whatever the situation may be, you know what I mean? Because they didn't have great games. Let's be fair. They didn't have great games. So they could bounce back with great games. LeBron James is fully capable of putting up 38 points, 8 and 8. Anthony Davis is fully capable of putting up 40 and 15. So they didn't have great games. So for game two, if they come in and one of them have a superstar great game just to put the doubt in them with championship pedigree, yeah, Tuesday. Good night.
I mean, look, okay. Zay, thanks for the elongated take right there. To respond to Zay and Cousin, game two is at home. So I expect the role players and the guys coming off the bench to play better at home. If this game was in LA and you talk about a game two in LA without Ja Morant, we having a different conversation. So I trust the Grizzlies to come off the gate not flat. Remember, they had a week off. The Lakers just played in the playing game, so they're still in game shape and game mode. I thought that the Grizzlies looked slow a little bit. So they want to get back into the flow. Another thing here, too. Is Anthony Davis going to remain healthy? Because I don't know. And I can never be certain about that. Because last time I checked, he almost was knocked out this series. I thought the series ended. I thought he had the same injury Kevin Love had in the playoffs when he hurt his shoulder. That's what I thought when he said, I can't move my arm. So you talk about not old, but you talk about durability. The Lakers are older. LeBron James is 50 years old. He just came off the playing game. Okay, so I think the Grizzlies, all they have to do is win game two at home. Right. I expect them to do that. And they should have Ja Morant. All they have to do is still one on the road. Listen, they've been playing without Ja Morant throughout the whole entire year, practically, when you think about it.
Clear.
So they have that experience. Even in the playoffs last year against the Warriors, you talk about, it's a regular season. Against the Warriors, they were without Ja Morant.
Clear.
So they're accustomed to this. They're a program. It's not like, all right, my guy just went down. You know, I'm shocked. I'm shell shocked. It's messing with my confidence. They've been here, done that. I expect them with all this talking that they're doing to win game 2 and tie this series, and then we'll go from there.
You know, so crazy, cousin. We keep mentioning Ja Morant, but y'all both mentioned probably the biggest thing is Steven Adams, bro. Like without Steven Adams, this is a major problem. You know what I mean? It becomes problematic for the Memphis Grizzlies from a toughness perspective, from a defensive perspective, from a rebounding perspective. They're different, kid. So right then and there, although you said everything legit, Anthony Davis, we don't know. That dude could fall in and slip in the shower. He's done for the season. I get it. Okay? But if, and I say if, it's an if one of them have an explosive game, they capable. LeBron James is capable. Still, at 50 years old, capable of picking up a good night game. And you know he got killer mentality. This is a 4-time champion. He has killer pedigree. He understands that this team is wounded. You do not give them a lifeline. We got to go and put on our best performance. This is what LeBron James is telling the team right now. We got to go put on our best performance right now and kill them. I believe they will do it.
It's crazy because when you look at the stats here, I want to go to this game. LeBron James had a good game, a very good game. 21 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, 22 and 12. Obviously, the final score is an outlier. It was much closer than that.
It was a close game.
You had great performances, not only by Anthony Davis and LeBron James, but off your bench. Is all 4 of those things going to stick? Right? Is Rui Hachimura going to give you 30? Yeah. Is Austin Reeves going to go off like that with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Something is not going to stick, and they barely won that game. And Ja Morant, when he did play, didn't even look all that great. And they was up by 7, I believe, after Ja Morant left, and they still almost won the game and narrowed the gap. So to say that this series is in jeopardy after game 1 is crazy to me. Especially if you had, I'm not sure where y'all had the Grizzlies, you know, in this series, if y'all had them winning or not. If you had the Lakers, then of course you agree, right? Because you just proved your argument. But if you had the Grizzlies, game 1, come on, it's a 7-game series. Okay, it's not in jeopardy.
It's not, and that's why I say I'm questioning if it's the jeopardy or not, because the Lakers have shown us throughout the season that their role players step up at marquee times. And it's not about Rui Hachimura getting 29 or 30 because he doesn't have to be the outlier next game. It could be Troy Brown Jr. It could be Malik Beasley. It could be Austin Reeves getting a 35, 40-point game.
And consistency. That's what it is.
The role players are the ones that are showing out. You know, it's not about LeBron getting 40, AD getting 40, because those will make the headlines. When you look deeper into the game, you see the role players that shine. Troy Brown Jr. went from not getting any minute at all to being the sharpshooter for the Lakers. Started playing the power forward spot, getting threes up and shooting out there because he's open most of the time. Rui doesn't have to get 30. He doesn't have to force his way to 30 because you're leaving him open. So, of course, if the guy is open, that's shoot-around shots. You got to make that. Those are shots that you take on when you practice when you train it. So those are open shots. So the Grizzlies' plan is to force the ball out of AD and LeBron's hands. They let the shooters shoot. That's a horrible game plan because the Lakers have shown their ability to hit open shots all season. You don't want that to happen. You got to have to play man up and hope that you could play great defense. Because if you're banking on doubling AD all game, leaving LeBron out there in the wing, leaving Austin Reeves out there, leaving D'Lo out there, you're going to miss. D'Lo had a horrible game last night. The last game. And he could arguably go off for 30 at any given time because he shoots the ball in high volume and has a lot of open shots and creates space within his shot. So there's a lot of different things with this Lakers offense that the Grizzlies need to be worried about because they didn't play great defense. A lot of guys missed open shots. And that's something that they need to be cognizant of when talking about we're not going for 30.
Let me ask you this question because clearly you need to answer this question. The way how you beefing up the Lakers, you need to go ahead and say it's jeopardy. There's no way you could be on one side and say, I don't know. You just lost a debate off of that, first of all. You cannot, okay? Because you ain't say one good thing about the Grizzlies yet. So you lost a debate. Even if you had valid points, you lost.
I said I like Tyus Jones.
All right?
I said they play
so basically, when you go back to that Clippers game, right? Remember that Clippers game that could have prevented the Lakers potentially from being in this whole situation of being in the playing game? Remember that game? Okay. The most important game in that rivalry in history because they never played in the playoffs together against each other, right? What did that Lakers bench do in that game compared to the Clippers? Nothing.
We're talking about a 7-game series now.
So what I'm saying, right, is that they have been inconsistent all year. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. They've been inconsistent. So yes, Whether it's Rui, whether it's Stewie, whether it's D-Lo, whether it's Shilo, CeeLo, I don't care who it is. They haven't been consistent. The Grizzlies are at home in game 2. I expect them to win this game without Ja Morant. Wow. They still have a big 3 to the Lakers' big 2.
I understand. I'm just saying the Grizzlies are another team that haven't been consistent themselves the entire season. They've been losing to the Western Conference most of the season. So it's about because that's why I'm just saying because we all know the Grizzlies talk a lot, and this is why I say like the Lakers and the Grizzlies like it goes hand in hand because the Lakers as inconsistent as they've been, the Grizzlies have been even more inconsistent because they talk crap about it. Dylan Brooks talks like he's a star player. He the best player in the Western Conference. That's how Dylan Brooks talks. He talks like he the best player in the Western Conference, and he gets beat up. The man gets beat up.
But similar to the guys you're talking about who can go off sporadically, Dylan Brooks is one of those guys. Even if you talk about, him being inconsistent, he can go off and give you 30. He can shoot the rock and get hot and give you 30. So the same thing you're saying about the Lakers, I could say the same thing about the Grizzlies. But the way how you one-sided the conversation, you might as well say the season is in jeopardy for the Grizzlies.
I'm only saying that because of the Desmond Bain comments. Oh, Rui not going off for seven games, 29 points, because they worried about the wrong thing. They worried about role players not going off. That's not something that should be on your mind. You don't want the role players to go off because they got sharpshooters all around. Like if you just remove Rui, you still got to worry about Troy Brown Jr. You still got to worry about Malik Beasley, D'Lo. You got a bunch of shooters out there in the Lakers, and you're focused on AD and LeBron. They're only going to do so much. They're the ones that kick out the double team, and you're leaving guys open. The Grizzlies need to focus on their defense. They got to stop giving up threes to try to double team AD. That's not how you win basketball.
Listen, until you do it, it's hard for me to see it. I'm just that dude. That's my makeup. The Memphis Grizzlies they got out of the first round, yes, but they haven't done nothing yet. You know what I mean? So I don't have that much confidence in them. I know they good. They talented. I get you that. You know what I mean? But they are injured. But they never did nothing to me to be like, yo, nah. LeBron did. That's why I'm saying that. Championship pedigree. I don't care how old he is, okay? Championship pedigree means something to me. And I'm like, yeah. Without Ja Morant, you got LeBron James. Without Ja Morant, Steven Adams, can they win game 2 and put real pressure on them? And this dude got a championship mindset? Yeah, I see that.
When was the last time you saw LeBron James do it?
It's been a minute.
Okay. I just wanted to make that clear. You know me, I always poke holes.
It's been a minute.
All right, I just want to know because it's been a minute, bro. A lot of things happened since the last time I seen LeBron James did it, pandemic included. Okay.
That's fair game.
YouTube is where it's at. So make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Get them notifications. That's our primary database or base where we upload content and stuff like that. So, man, get into them because we got a lot of content coming your way.